Kristin Hannah does it again. We are back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are discussing The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. For those of you who've never seen one of these videos before, here's how it's going to go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, including my star rating and personal opinion, all while not spoiling the book for you. But then we get into my Christian review, and that's where I go over the basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or, frankly, anyone wanting to read it. I give more caveats and any more information you may need about these reviews at the video that's pinned at the top of the playlist. Or you should be able to click here somewhere. At the very end of my reviews, I also give an age range, so make sure to hang on for the whole video. And if you're still here, let's go ahead and get into my regular review. The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah takes place in the 1920s in the Dust Bowl. So we're talking Texas, Oklahoma, that area where they used to really be about agriculture, but now the agriculture was drying up and they had zero access to food, finances, water, or anything else. I have not read very many books about the Dust Bowl, and this book really takes place from the time the Dust Bowl started until the beginning of World War II. I absolutely loved everything about this book, and I thought the storyline was fascinating. I really appreciated learning so much about the Dust Bowl, and at the time that I read it, I wanted to do more research about the Dust Bowl and see Kristin Hannah's experiences. If you listen to the audiobook, at the very end, there is an interview with Kristin Hannah and Julia Whalen, and they talk about the book, about the characters, about the pieces that were important. And Kristin Hannah mentions a few of the books that she referenced throughout her research of this book. I went back and actually listened to one of those nonfiction books later on, and it was amazing to me how much she took real life stories that happened in that book and made it into a fiction novel. So it was actually very accurate to the stories we have about the Dust Bowl itself. In that way, I felt she did an incredible job with the research and the information, and it made me really honed in on the characters. It made me honed in on the storyline and understand what she was talking about in a way that I probably wouldn't have understood the Dust Bowl any other time. What I will say is, although I loved the story and loved learning about the Dust Bowl, I didn't feel as connected to the female main character as I wanted to. Now, this is a relationship between a mother and daughter and her son as they are trying to figure out how to survive during the time of the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. They actually end up moving out to California to try to get work and figure out a way to survive. But what I found the most impactful was the relationship between the mother and the daughter as they went through this process. However, despite that impact, I didn't really feel connected to this character until the very, very end of the book, and then that ending just blew it away. Ultimately, I rated this book 4.5 stars. To be honest, the ending brought it to a 0.5 in the 4.5 because that ending just killed the game. It was unbelievable and really does have you in your feels so much. If you want to see everything that I'm reading and rating in real time, you can do so by following me on Goodreads. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so if you're wanting to see more of my day-to-day life and reading journey, check the links down below in the description box. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. The first category I always love to touch on is smut or spice, and there really isn't any, not explicitly described. There is some spice, very minor, that helps explain the storyline a little bit, but it's easy to skip past. They're all less than a page, or they're not very descriptive where you really need to make sure you're skipping it. The second category is explicit language, and there's really no explicit language throughout this book. The third category is if there's any violence and gore, because all the other Kristin Hannah books I've read so far do have some aspect that I need to discuss this, but this book actually doesn't. There's more emotional trauma and baggage and weight and sadness than there is physical attacks or anything like that. However, there are some minor scenes, not explicitly described, but still things throughout this book, minor things. This book would be great for anyone aged 15 and up. I think it's a really great opportunity to use a fiction book to learn more about the Dust Bowl. I actually think you would learn so much. I did, and I'm an adult, so I think it would be great for a teenager. Before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books, plus me and my mom's podcast, The Journey We Share. We're posting all the time, and we don't want you to miss a single thing. On top of that, it helps us know that the content we're providing is content that helps you. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and we cannot wait until we see you on the next one.